Alright guys, welcome to another beer review. The girlfriend's out at a university party, so I've got the apartment to myself. So I thought I'd get a few beers in. Going to be doing a beer chat later on tonight, and I thought, do you know what, I'll do a beer review while sat on the floor so you can actually see the little background, which is really too small to be of any practical use. But yeah, I do love collecting my beer labels, and I've got like a big pile of ones that I'm hopefully going to make a big board out of, but who cares. So yeah, just kicking back, going to review a couple of beers and listen to the Stranglers because I'm in a really big, Stranglers kit recently. So today's beer is the Pale Ale from Regensburg Spital, which is one of the biggest breweries here in the city. And yeah, talked about their beers a hell of a lot, talked about the brewery itself a hell of a lot. The playlist is down below if you want to find out more about these guys. But I will say that it's great to see such a traditional brewery getting into this market and not just bringing out like a really run-of-the-mill pale ale and a really run-of-the-mill stout, that sort of stuff, but actually doing something interesting. And I very much look forward to see what they release in the future, and I'm looking forward to next year's Regensburg Craft Beer Festival because the festival pale ale is just phenomenal. So yeah, I thought I'd revisit the Pale Ale because I did actually review this when I was doing beer reviews on my film channel. But then of course I created a channel here to solely dedicated to beer reviews, and I did the process of like downloading beer reviews from the old channel, putting them on here, and when it came to some of the manufacturer stuff from Spital, I thought, you know what, I'm going to not re-upload these. I'm going to do fresh reviews in the future because the beers are very readily available. I mean, I live in the city where the beers are actually brewed, so not only do I have the Spital like brewery shop, but also a lot of the supermarkets are stocking their craft beers. And yeah, already opened the bottle, but yeah, the Pale Ale is clocking in at 6.5%. I do really like the labels. Nothing too exciting or anything like that, but there's like a sense of elegance about them, and they look very uniform when they're all on the shelf. So we'll see if the beer's changed, because I think the IPA, the latest batch of the IPA that they do, is according to, I think it was Pete from slowdrink.de, does like lots of whiskey tastings, beer tastings, rum tastings. I'll put that link down below as well, because that's some really interesting stuff. I just love what's going on in terms of alcohol in this city. I mean, the Beretta Beer Bar has just opened up, which I couldn't make the grand opening, but I'm hoping to go there at least before I go back to England this Christmas. By the time seeing this, it's probably already in the new year, so I hope you had a great Christmas. Way to date your video, Pete. But yeah, it's just great to see how, in that sort of sense, this city is evolving, and Germany, probably one of the most exciting places for beer lovers, especially the craft ilk, let's put it that way. And yeah, apparently their new IPA is improved, always developing, and I'm not sure if they're doing that with the Pale Ale either. But this goes out of date on the 18th of the 4th, 2017, so it's still got some legs in it. Anyway, let's get the beer poured and see what we get. It's got a nice little glug. I'll pour it all in so you can actually see it. So, beer in a glass, generated way too much head there because of my pour. But that's like a really nice sort of rusty amber colour. It's got a nice amount of haze to it. Not chill haze because this has not been in the fridge at all. Well, I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's really nice amounts of carbonation flowing in there. It's got like a sense of murk about it as well, but like a nice dark, bold, rusty amber colour. And I poured about one finger's worth of maybe like an eggshell, fluffy, foamy white head. Looks really good in the glass so far, so let's try and give it a twizzle. Terrible at swizzling glasses. Definitely pick up the hops straight away. It's got that Rentries fruit pastel aroma to it. A little bit of maybe a slight rose in there as well. There's definitely a floral quality right in the background. But yeah, lemony, orangey. A little bit of grapefruit, a little bit of lychee. It's not a fruit bowl by any stretch, but you do get a lot of nice fruity aromas in there. And then there's like maybe a slight spiciness underlining there with maybe a bit of hint of pepper. Or maybe that floral herby edge comes in as well. Yeah, it smells really, really good actually. Anyway, let's see what it tastes like. Cheers. That's really nice. It's a little bit more bitter than you would expect it to be. You get that bitterness straight from the start. And then you get that sort of like lemon juice, slight orangey sort of character in there as well. There's maybe a slight, almost like caramel malt presence as well. But you definitely pick up those malts in there. And I think I said this the last time that I reviewed this one. It almost has that sensation of what most people would call an IPA. It's got that character, it's got that nice malt build. And you do get those hops in there, but it's not as hoppy as you would expect it to be. Yeah, you do definitely get that natural fruit juice sort of flavour coming from those hops. Not a fruit bowl, not a hop bomb, not overridingly bitter. Very nicely balanced. But that bitter edge does creep in. Especially right at the start and then right at the end of your swig. But yeah, it's a fairly standard but high quality pale ale. Very easy drinking. I mean, it is a 6.5% ABV beer, so it's not exactly sessionable, but you don't detect any of that beer in there at all. And yeah, if you were to have this a little bit more chilled at the height of summer, it's going to go perfectly well. But here, coming towards Christmas, sat in a room on my own, yeah, it's going down a treat. And yeah, a good start to what should be a nice evening of beer drinking. But yeah, I think this is a really good example of a beer that has flavour, but it could also work as like a palate cleanser almost. But yeah, there's like a very slight herbaceous edge to it, a little bit of floral, almost medicinal quality to it. But like I was saying, nice body, very drinkable. You could smash this. You probably shouldn't smash it, but you could. But yeah, it's not the greatest pale ale that I've tried. But it's by far one of the worst that I've tried here in Germany. Because as much as I love the German craft scene, you do come across some really uninspired pale ales and IPAs. But this, very solid indeed, and I think I paid about €1.55 for a bottle of it. It's well worth the money. And it's one that you could go to time and time again if you just wanted a nice, easy drinking, simple pale ale. And that's what it is. It does its job, but it sort of does bleed into what I would consider anyway an IPA. But I'm not going to hold that against it too much. Maybe knock off 1 point because of that. But as a beer on its own, 7 out of 10. I think that's a fair point. Yeah, 7 out of 10, and that's with a point taken off it because I feel it's more of an IPA. But yeah, very solid job indeed. And if you ever find yourself here in Germany, in Bavaria, or if this beer somehow makes it over to you, give it a try. And yeah, there are better beers for me personally that Spital do, but it's still a high quality, drinkable, very pleasing beer indeed. Anyway, I've waffled on way too long. Thank you guys for watching. Check out my Spital playlist down below. Check out for many more Spital beers in the future. And yeah, what's some of your favourite German pale ales? What's some of your recommendations? And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hopefully will see you in the next one. Cheers.